recording March 16th, ARC 210-01. And we are week number 7. It's like midterm. we're going to do, the last thing we're going to do is the tutorial. Next to last is the presentation of the next project. Right now is the procedures to submit, I should say submission, yes, submission procedures for project 2. Hi, Francesca. Paulina, is Paulina here? No, Paulina. All right. How's everybody doing with their picture perfect? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Everybody working on it? Okay, so when Paulina shows up, she sent me a example of where she was at, and I marked it up and sent it back to her. So I was gonna let everybody know that I would do that, and then you get a better grade. But of course, as you know, that you can, if you don't like your grades at the end of the semester, you can resubmit, revise and resubmit. But in the meantime, I'm gonna come up here and and just really quickly, this is the start, really quickly go over where we're at, and I'm going to do 2 things that are new. And we all should know how to do this. I'm going to go select a mask, and then go to this, and then put a little feather on this. Don't make your edges shift feather. Sharp, make them soft. Edges sharp, edges soft. It's a soft photograph. It's a soft photograph. And this is that's the fine edges. That really makes it soft, makes it small. I don't want to spend too much time doing this. Can everybody hear me? I'm talking too soft. And of course, I have to put option to get rid of some of that. Oops. Yeah. Okay, so indicates mask. Is it selected areas or mask areas? Mask. I think I want to mask out the background. So the layer mask. Okay. And there it is. All right, the thing, then I wanted to do this, demonstrate this really quickly again, that when I selected, I made a gradient, and I made this gradient by selecting the background, darkest dark, lightest light. You remember that we did all that. And I went and did a gradient on a layer that was empty, and I got this. And that looks pretty good, but I had to go and remember that I had to go over here and go, because this smoothness, this is soft and got a gradation. This is computer smooth, so I got to I got to put a some grain in it by adding noise, and then I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to do it fast. Select filter, noise, add noise, Gaussian, monochromatic, random, monochromatic. That's what that means. That too. Okay, and then I had to go, and you can see the edges of it is soft, and so I'm going to go filter, blur, and I'm going to pick up Gaussian blur. That's the first blur. All those others like on 0.5. Okay, now that really looks like it fits like the photograph. And so this is, everybody's already done that. This is what's new. I can make this hair. I got to retouch this hair strand by strand with maybe the it's got to be on the right layer. The rubber stamp tool works the best, and it does for the hair. And I'm grabbing it strand by strand, going in the direction of the hair, over in that direction. And you do that, but I can make this easier by going, and I'm going to see if this, the hair is a little more forgiving than the face. I'm going to see if this object selection tool will work here on just the hair. It does. How great is that? Except for right here. Now, I could go and go to the lasso tool and hold shift down and grab all of this like that. Shift adds, option subtracts. Or I could go make my foreground background color black and white and use my quick mask tool and come up here and use my brush tool and option shift. Now we're not in the mode in the X. We're not in this in the select and modify mode. But I bet you I could do that. So let's try that. So there I'm making my X. I want to add a forehead there. But let's try, let's see what happens. So that'll work if I feather that. And I can feather here and here. Now I make a selection, I can feather, select, modify feather, but I want to go back and try doing it in this select a mask and then put the feather on it. Oh, I could also use this feathered edge thing. And that might work really well here. Oh, it does. Because this is always a problem right in here. This really works nicely. Yet strands. You can't do this by hand. But that works really well. Wow. All right, I got a couple of nicks here, but you can pick that up later. And I'm going to go over here and get this. And remember, I got to get the it's not X in this selected mask mode, it's option, because there's no foreground background color. So now I'm ready to do that. And so I've done this, I can done this two different ways. Output to selection or output to new layer mask and go okay. And I got it. Of course, I did that wrong. I wonder if I can go, because I masked off everything. I want to go back in time. And let's output to layer mask. Select the mask. I've got that back. Oh, it didn't do this. So let's do that again. Very nicely. I'm using this tool that you can only have in the selected mask, which is this refine edge tool. You don't have it here. And so now I got to go off feather just a little bit. And all I wanted to do this up here. And output to selection of new layer mask. Output to layer mask. Okay, and I did all of this. Oh, I did it wrong again. Output to layer mask. No, I need some help. Select the mask. I did it wrong again. Output to, unless it's not what I expect. Output to new layer with layer mask. That's what I'm looking for. I did that wrong twice. So it's easy to make a mistake. There, I got the face and I got the hair. This is the entire head and this is on top and it's only the hair. So I can go and use this mask and I can take this off. You can see that then there's no face there because it's on the layer below it. But I can come up and get and see what this looks like. And now this I isolated this so I can go feather, noise, dust and scratches, this particular filter. And of course, there's these other filters, and look them up if you want to learn about them. You learn about them by needing them. And the problem here, of course, is that that little frame is on the mask, not on the layer. So I don't want to do anything on the mask. Little frame there. So I got to go cancel that and go over to layer. Now, just so you know why you have to have the layers open at all times. Now I'm on the layer, and I'm going to go see what this does. Now I'm ready to do the filter. Where was I? Noise, dust and scratches. Well, that's what this is, dust and scratches. So here's the preview. Uh-oh. Here we go. Here's the preview. And there's like a good spot to look at. And I can go, ooh, that really did it. Blurred everything. That is radius 2. You can see it happening out here as well. And I can't do that. And this is just to help it a little bit to get the steps. Now that, I'm going to go all the way with this. This makes it sharper, so I don't want to do that. I want to have it, it sharpens the edge. More contrast, threshold, more contrast. No, I want to keep that down to really low. I don't know, 0.5. And there you can see it happening. I think I can see it in mine. Point. Okay. 0.3. That blurred a little more. 0.2, 0.5. You're trying to make it so it works, but it won't take 0.25. It works, but you don't notice it. Now everything is stuck. That works. That grabber hand doesn't work anymore. Cancel. something went froze there. So I think what I got to here was I think what I got to is 0.2 and 0.5 and 0.1. I can't do a half a point. So 2, is it 2 or is it 3? I'm going to go do 2. And then I'm going to come up here and go see what happened here. This is what it is. Command Z, that's what it was. So you can see what happened. It works. Command Shift Z, you see how that took away all of that blue stuff in there? Is a redo the undo. Command Z is undo. Command Shift Z is redo the undo. So all that was to make that easier to to look cleaner, not a bunch of blue streaks or not spotches. And now I got to come in here and fix it. And this should be pretty easy. Don't make it look like you're mowing the lawn, because you got to go back and forth on this, back and forth. Is Paulina, you're here. Hello. Are you here?
Hi. Yes, I'm here. I have to go back in a little bit for like the second round, but in between, I'm here in class.
Can I show you? Can everybody look at your work here?
Yes, I was just like playing with it. I didn't know if it was due, so I was just like.
No, it isn't due. Everybody look at the syllabus to find out when things are due. It's due next week. But at any rate, here, did you get all of this stuff that I pointed out?
Yes, I did. I from last week's video, I didn't realize like the borders that you have to like make them blend a little, and I was like playing around with which tools like we could use for the
in the video that's going on right now, I went over that on terms of the edges.
Yes.
You had some edges here, and you had some stuff that you just didn't get to. Now,
yes.
I talked about the teeth, and these ridges here are, you know how to get rid of those ridges? Should I demonstrate that?
Yes, please.
All right. Anyway, folks, if you want to, I'm going to give, this is how I'm going to give you a grade. I'm going to go and I'm going to make red marks and make notes, and I'll go like 10 is an A, and I'll go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and giving judgments on each of these things that could be better, just so you know how it's going to work. That's how it's going to work. And then if you want to make it better, some people do. Some people say, I can't do this, and I don't want to see it anymore. That depends upon what you guys want to do, each individually. It's an experience. I'm on the mask. I want to get rid of some of this stuff. That has to be a softer brush. But just, you're on the mask, I can get rid of some of this stuff. Anyway, so here we go. That's what we got. Let me. Now I haven't. Oh, I was going to do this bridge thing. That's right. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to. It's kind of hard to do this. I'm going to go healing brush tool, get up close, and make a big brush. And this requires an option. And I'm going to just go here very quickly. So I go back and forth on this. And I'm going to work on this one up here too. So we can see it. I got to be sensitive to the folds in the fabric here, because the casts different light. And you can see there's a kind of a, it's working, except for there's this ridge that's going on here. It's kind of a ridge. I'm doing this pretty quickly. And then I want to come in and don't lose the arm, everybody. I want to come and see what I can do to get rid of this ridge. And what I can do is go to my clone tool, make this bigger, and take the opacity down up here. But I can do that. I can do that by going up here and doing this. Or I can do that on the keyboard. And I'm going to go 5. That's 50. I'm going to go back and forth. You see that ridge going away? Now I might have to go in and go back to 100 and pick up some of this, clean this up first. But the trick here is you lower your opacity a little bit, and 60. And go back and forth from light to dark, and you're blending it. That is how that works. And this of course, I got to go 100, and my brackets are making my brush smaller. And those two little keystrokes really make you work a lot quicker. So, Paulina, does that make sense to you?
Yes, I'm gonna fix it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So everybody's got that, right? And of course, when you come up to these teeth, again, I've already illustrated this or demonstrated this. I'm going to go be on the teeth layer. That's the one below it, that one. And you have to really come up here and remake this. And it's with a small brush, a rubber stamp clone tool, oops, option. And it takes a little patience to make this work. I'm going to get up close, and then when I got some there, I can make my brush bigger, and that right there, I got to make my brush smaller, and go right over that, very small option. I'm going to come up because it's got to be kind of blended. Small brush. Very delicate work. All right, so there's a little edge there, so I'm going to blend this by, oops, doing like that, taking it down to 50. So there you get the idea. And that's not bad. Of course, that'll look better when this tooth gets done and that tooth gets done. And you'll have to make sure you have a little highlight, because this is, when you reconstruct this, it might be, maybe you'll know if that needs a little highlight when you compare this and then push out. But that one's gonna work. So anyway, so you got to do these teeth all at the same time. Some maybe have to pull some to highlight from over here. I'm going to take it down to 20 and go option and just put a little shade there. Just a little shade. So anyway, so that's a finessing thing. So I'm gonna, give me a minute here. I'm gonna go, any questions on this so far? No. I'm gonna go and look for my final. I'm gonna show you how to, I can't get everything ready before class, just impossible, because I get lost. There is one that's retouched. That's the measure of success right here, folks. And what I want to do is do a before and after. Oops, can't do that anymore. So I'm going to go File, New, and this is the instructions for submission. Width, well, we'll do this, 11 by 85 by 300. Create. And then I'm going to go and pull this one over. So this is to check this. So everybody always ought to know what their images are. This is almost 5 by 7 by 300, and this is 300 over here. So that should fit fine. And it does. After. Now I want to go back to my before, which is here. And I'll float that, and I'll drag that over. I think. Oh, I've got to grab it. I can drag either from the canvas or the background. And there's the after, before and after. I don't know why those are a little different size. I just don't know why. It should be the same size. All right, I want to line those up. A nice margin. It's even. That works. And I got my before and after. But what I'd like you to do is see these tints are the same. So let's do something different. Show us that you know how to do layer, new adjustment layer, and tint it. And what do you want to do? Do you want to use black and white? Hue saturation, I can use this. I'm going to click it to this. I'll do it both ways. You decide what you want to use. And if I go, this is the simplest. I go to colorize, and I can take my saturation down and take my color. So I can actually make this look like a contemporary black and white photograph, like that. Not bad. I want to make the lightness up. Not much. All right, that's one way to do it. I've done that. Well, I'll just take the eyeball off and do it another way here. Layer, new adjustment layer, black and white. Now, use a layer below it. Yes, okay. And this is presets. You have a bunch of presets here. Well, you could try one of those, or you can do it yourself. Oh, wait a minute. I want to turn this off and see if there's what it is. And that works just fine, black and white, it's already there. But I can make these presets and see what they look like by changing them. Default. You can see that it's changing the color yellows that are in the image, and it's giving it some nuance variations. Let's tint. There's the tint. And let's say I want to take the yellow down. Take the yellow down. Take the, oh, so I got to fiddle with this to get what I want to get. So that's, you'd have to fiddle with it. Tint, oh, I see. I forget what I'm doing with tint. I want to tint it. Blue. Okay, so I got to choose that. And then I want to take the blue down. Anyway, if you'd like to fiddle around with this, do so. There's where you choose your tint. And if I don't choose that tint, it just comes out straight black and white. Okay, anyway, those are the two ways to do it. This is the simplest way. Colorize and just change the color and take the saturation down. All right, once I got that done, I want to go, any questions on that? Anybody? You all right with that? I want to go get above this, right like now. Before, make this typography discrete because it's about the image, not about the stylization of the type. After name. Oops. Sorry. Something like that. And you got a portfolio piece. You can show people how great you are and get jobs. When I get that done, any questions on this? Anybody? No. When I get that done, flatten the image. You can save this first. File, save as to your folder. So you have it saved. You can go back if you like. But of course, you already have your original retouching as a different file. You got that saved already. This is when the two images are on their own page. The different 8.5 by 11. And then I flatten this and I'm discarding that layer that I didn't use. Okay. And then I save this file, save as, and I want to save it on the in the box. So you got to go to the box, and I'm just gonna. I'm not gonna save it. I'm just gonna go through the steps. Name 300 GPI. Or and that'll work. That'll work as a name. That's our naming convention. Of course, I could go as well, but I'll take it either way. And you save that to the Dropbox. And then pretend I saved it. Let me cancel this. And then you go image. It's already saved in the Dropbox. Image size, 8.5 by 11. I'm the low. See how this was. Let me see. 300. 24.1 megabytes. That's pretty big to send to me as a proof that you have done this. So you can take this down to, because I'm going to go open up the one in the box to correct it. This, when you're sending me this file now that's flattened, it's just to indicate that you have submitted it. So I'm going to go to the box and open it. up with the one that's 300 DPI where it's beautiful. So this doesn't need to be 300. In fact, it can go to 150 or go to 72 and 8.5 by 11. It went from 24 megabytes down to 1.3. Oh, that's what I want. I want 1.39. I don't want 24. This is just to tell me that you have submitted it. So there it is, smaller. So if I go to image size and look at it, it's 72. That's what I asked for. So then you file and save this to your own folder, and then you take that and you send me an email and make that attachment. Let's see if that's your folder on your drive. It's a small file now, and send it to me. Project 2 submitted. Yay. Any questions? No questions? Everybody happy? You can follow this. This is due. All right, so I'm done with this. Let's see. This is all public. So this is due next week. Boy, next week. See, I want to get this done before spring break. Now, so this right here, we've gone over this picture perfect retouching. Yay, we're finished with that. You're handing it in next week. And if you want to hand it in, if you want to send it to me anytime before next week and get me to give you a response like I did with Pauline, which you should look at, I'll do it for you. And that'll just give you a better grade, right? Before you get you up your, not your final grade, the next grade on the submission of this. All right, I want to go, this is the next project. And I think I want to do the climate change first because there are some techniques that I want to see. It's going to be part of this project. See when you do this project. So I'll do the climate change now, introduce the project. So that would be climate change. Here we are. Here's a start. Open with. And then I want to go and get the landscape. And then, Levi. And the Eiffel Tower. And I have, that's what we're doing. Do I have to, this is like a finished product. But I don't have this on, I do have it on layers. All right, great. I'm going to move this over here so I can refer to it if I forget what I'm doing. So here is the start. Here's a landscape. I'm going to float that, and I'm going to drag and drop. And then I've got the star, and then I want to have Levi, and drag and drop Levi. And then I have the Eiffel Tower, and do the same thing with that. And do I have all these? See, I don't need these now. I'll put it this, put that, fold this up. And here I've got a clean screen. So I want to, the Eiffel Tower is last, that's the top. Levi gets over the landscape, and I'll go edit, transform, scale, or Command T, and scale Levi up. Hit return, And I want to go and get rid of the background. So layer masks is one requirement for the next project. We're moving from retouching now back to photo collage or montage. Reveal all, and I can go and get and do this a number of different ways. As you remember, I can use the quick selection tool, match one tool to get rid of the white, or I can use the object selection tool. Let me float this so I have more. I bet you I can get this like this. All right, except for I did not get the trees. I wonder if I'm doing it. There's two, there's like two different ways to do this, and I think I should do it both ways. But I'm gonna do it both ways right on this layer. I'm gonna delete the layer mask and try this with select mask module, and see if I can get the trees with this. Oh, let me get brush, and then try it. See, I came in here because I got this edge, and that really seems to be working. Option scroll, option, get rid of that. I want to keep the sheep going on, raising on his head. So that's working really well. Right on the edge. That's getting the trees, so that really works better. Option. No, it's got a hole in this head there. Get the tree. So we can see that works pretty well, getting all that. So I'll use this. Brush tool. And new layer with layer mask. Layer mask. I don't need to do layer. Layer mask on that layer. Okay. Perfect. Disable layer mask. There it is. Layer mask. Get up here and look at it. And you got the trees going on. And that mask, if I look at it, I can see it's a little bit thin here. So I can actually go in here and be working on the mask and with my brush tool and bring back, oops, and Z, X. You remember why we've got to do the X, because I'm either filling in or taking away. And there I can, that's a little sheep. That's why it's white. So there he is, right there. And now I want to come down here to the jungle and make the climate change. So I'm going to do that by, I'm toggling back and forth between two different files. That's why you see the layers change. Now I'm back on this file. I'm going to do that by going layer, new adjustment layer, and I'll do hue saturation because it's dramatic. So we got layer mask, hue saturation, okay, and here's a gradation on the hue saturation. But first of all, I've got to make it the climate change. oh, not saturation. This is making it, and it's switching the color wheel right here. That's a color wheel as it was. This is as it is. So I'm flipping these colors by doing this. So here it's orange and purple, really nasty colors. And then I want to go up to my ramp, and this is my ramp from Picture Perfect. And I want to just get a black and white because I'm going to put a transition on the mask. So that'll work, black to white. Because masks are grayscale. So if I put a color, it's going to come in if it's any kind of color, it'll come in a percentage of gray. So we're just black and white for now, because that is what works dramatically. And I'm not sure if it's going to go the right way, but hold my shift key down, it's a straight line. And it is, but I got to go and make it more dramatic, shorter. Oh, I'm in the circular gradient. I want to be in the linear gradient. Shorter. That works. That's the change of weather going on. And the next thing I want to do is say, let me check. I can see the future. I want to discover some things about the text tool with regards to adjustment layers. I can I have this, I gotta happen to have a condensed type going on, so I can make this really big. And I'm making it blocky. So you can see I can do I can do some experiments with, I can see the future. So I'm gonna do some experiments here. Explore this a little bit. Like, what if I was to do any of these modes? There's a mode that works, not great. Let's change a color and see what happens with these modes. I'm kind of working this a little bit on the fly because it's fun to do. So this is the arrows. Now it's starting to work. Just a mode on type. I can see the future. And if I move this around, oh, I missed, I should have said, what was that? Overlay, hard light, shows hard light. I move this around. Oh, I want this on the top. It should change the color a little bit depending on, and it does, on what's underneath it. Now let's take a look at this. Let me see what I did here. I wanted to try this a different way, so I was just checking what I did. So I'm going to go and come back to Levi. I'm going to try this new. It's not new. This horizontal type, and this is a mask. It will become a mask. So I can type, but I'm not going to type it. It's in a selection. Oh, I bet you I can come up here and make this easier if I go over here. I'm doing this a different way now. Command C. And so I want you to experiment, see if you can do this or the first version. I'll just try this stuff out. I'm gonna go make this a selection. And I'm gonna go click, and I'm gonna go Command V, so I don't, only because I didn't have to type that in again. And as soon as I went to my move tool, it made it a selection. And I can move that selection if I go to my selection tool. If I go to my move tool, it'll move the what's underneath the image, which and now, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to just go to my selection tool, and that just moves the selection. But I could do a adjustment layer to this selection. This is kind of new, different. New adjustment layer, hue saturation, and I want it to go to everything. So it'll be above Levi because that's a layer I'm on. Say, oh, okay. And there it is right there. How fabulous is that? And you can't see it because I haven't changed the color yet, but watch. Oh, fabulous. And I'm going to make this saturated. Oh, neat. Neat. I can see the future. All right, so I can pick a color. And now, just when I move this, it changes compared with the color underneath it. So that's pretty neat. I can see the future. So what I did here is I made a selection, and I just went to my move tool, or I typed the type, and I typed it in as a mask. I went to my move tool, and I turned it into a selection, and I knocked that selection through an adjustment layer, so you can start to see now, we're starting to get advanced, and it's starting to see how you can put these things together and make neat stuff. So, and that's the mask right there, which looks like that. And so that's pretty neat. Now I'm inadvertently moving layer mask over gradient, which I don't want to do. I can remove this one. Yeah. So we have to have our layers going on and channels going on, so we can control everything with our layers and the channels. So that is a pretty good start on this. So I've got adjustment layers, layer masks that are happening. Those are two things. And now we're going to go off into the Eiffel Tower, because this happens to be where Levi lives in Paris in the future. So I'm going to take this and we're going to go now and put the Eiffel Tower into the image. But the thing I want to do is get rid of the blue. So I'm going to go layer mask with view all, and come up here. And this time I'm going to go beyond the mask, and I'm going to use another tool here. I don't really want the object because I want some of the trees as well. So I'm going to use, and I could use quick selection. That's a cursor because I happen to have my caps on. I mean, that's a crosshair. Anytime you're in any of those tools and you want to see the pixel that you're working on, the very pixel, you put your caps locks on. And I'm going to take those off. And but anyway, that was what's going on there. And now I lost the top of that, so I'm going to bracket my cursor down and hit Option. That's this button here, and come up here and get everything. This is spacebar. Doesn't select the deselect the image for the selection. Option. There, I got the Eiffel Tower. Of course, I can make this a quick mask and finesse it up perfectly, but this is good enough for now. Option. Oh, no, Shift. I want to take here. This is the selection. Now, what is the selection? That's a selection. That's not, even though it's blue and it's got confusing me. So I'm going to come down, back down here and go, make my cursor bigger, and go Shift, Option, I forget myself. See the minus come up? That means I'm, oh, I got it backwards. I want to add to that selection. So I was right the first time. Shift adds to the selection because the blue is the selection. You get confused. I get confused. It's easy to get confused. And I think all I want is the trees. Oops. So Command Z. And maybe I got to go to another, because you can combine these selection tools. Magic Wand and add, Shift, plus comes up. Luckily, the little icons come up. And I didn't like that. So I'm going to go and say, oh, I kind of like that, but I want to see what it looks like. So I'm going to go, this is a selection. I go down to my quick math. I go like that and I say, oh, great. I can even make this better. But I don't want those buildings there. I'm taking away. I got to toggle my foreground background color. That's X. And I think I want my brush to be smaller or harder. And make it smaller. Get familiar with all these tools and keystrokes and you can go pretty quickly. So I just wanted the trees because I'm going to blend the trees into the jungle. All right, so there I got it going on. I've got to take that quick mask off. That quick mask, you can never leave that on there. I've got to go and click that button again. Now I can come over to the mask. I've got that highlighted, the frame on the mask. And that's the delete. And if I hit delete, oh, it's always the opposite. X, delete. Yay, I did it. Command D. And if I want to get, I made a mistake right there, but that's not really a mistake because everything is variable, redoable, correctable because you have masks and you have layers. So all I have to do is mask that out with my paintbrush on the mask. So nothing is wrong as long as you don't flatten your image. And I kind of did that just so I could see that blend in. Of course, I could come up here and get all this blue and stuff and make it perfect. But I don't need to do that right now for this demonstration. So the problem here is that it's not the same color. So I've got to go, and also I got these edges up here. That's the edge of the mask. Get to that. So I want to take that Eiffel Tower and drop it underneath this hue saturation. And so there I did it. And there it is the same color. There it is in original. There it is in the same color. And there is, and I think what I want to do is, just because it's not blending so quickly, I'm going to go up here and just make this a little soft edge here. So that blends better. All right, so now we got the Eiffel Tower, but the heat was so intense on the Eiffel Tower that it melted. I can't grab it. And here's a problem. I want to grab and I want to move this Eiffel Tower over. And look what happens on the layers. Click. It clicks to the layer up. That's just like a fluke of Photoshop. I got to turn that layer off before I can move it. There I can move it. It would not click through this layer, so I just got to turn it off. And now I'm going to go edit, melt the Eiffel Tower. And how I'm going to use, there's all of these transforms that do different stuff. Like here's a warp. That's one version of, and that you see, you got these handles here, and I can melt the Eiffel Tower this way. And that works pretty well. I can pull this up. These are anchor points, but it's pulling that up, which is not so good. These are anchor points, like a vector program that makes these curves, these lines from point to point by grabbing these handles. So isn't that weird? I can melt this. And I hit return and then engage it, but I want to show you another way, which is even more crazy. Puppet warp, which gives us this lattice around everything, so we can keep some things in place and melt other things or bend other things. So I've got to drop a pin, and I'll drop a pin right there, and drop a pin right here, and drop a pin right there, and then I can come up here and pop, drop, and drag, and melting Eiffel Tower. Oh boy, it's such fun. And then I can hit return, and there's the melting Eiffel Tower. Maybe I want to scale that up. So that's okay. Now I got to go and fix this stuff. So I'm going to go back up to my puppet warp. I only use this when I'm doing the weird stuff like this, because it's a weird thing to do. Well, I could go and keep this right here, and then grab that pin, and it keeps that. And put a pin there and grab that down. So there, I warped that image pretty weird. Now there's some other I'd like to show you, but if perspective warp, this is really actually very useful. But I don't think I'm going to show you that now. If anybody wants to see that, or if I remember, I'll show it to you later, because it get too confusing. I think that I covered everything. Anybody got any questions? Do I have an audience out there? Hi, I see. How you doing? Hi, Lily. Hi, Lena. Hi, Paulina. Hi, Kira. Thank you. I appreciate that. I get lonely sitting here by myself. All right, I want to look at something else here, because we got this project that's coming up. There's 5 things that need to be in this project. And I want to go see if I can find my 5 techniques. That's the next tutorial. We're going to do this next week, but you need to have this with do the 5 techniques: layer masks, layer styles, adjustment layers, filters, smart object filters, modes. So we haven't done smart objects. That comes in this next week's tutorial. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I want to see where are we? Where's my landscape? I want to see what I got right here, because this is required in the. I want to see you besides do something really interesting and aesthetically creative and typographically interesting or well done. And we'll talk about type next week as well. So I got layer masks, yes. Layer styles, there's no layer styles here. So if I was to go and say, Levi, you need a layer style. And I'll do an outer globe. Make it weird. There's my modes. Well, we got to have modes. So there's a mode right there. Do I want green? I want some, I don't know. And spread, size, noise. Oh, let's put some noise in there. And mode, darken. There's my mode. Well, we'll just say okay. So there I got that. And what's happening here is that there is edges when we isolated Leroy, that's the name of my cat, Leroy. This is Levi. We isolate, what am I doing? I'm painting black on the photograph because I didn't look to see what was happening. Command Z. Now I'm on the mask, and there's an edge here that I didn't erase, and that's why that's there, an edge up here. And that's just where that pixel hit the edge of the mask. There is Levi with a mode, a layer style. It's not only a layer style, but there's a mode going on, and which is, I know that when if the mode happens to be in the which is okay. Oh, what happened on my mode? Let me see. Going backwards here. Auto glow, darken. There's the mode right there. There's a mode. Now, if I was to put a mode on Levi, it would be right here, mode. I'm going to do something fun here. You don't have to do this for your tutorial, but I can just see that as you start to play around with stuff, you can do exclusion, interesting stuff. Now, there is Levi with a mode exclusion, but it's a little too fakey. So I'm going to duplicate him. And I'm going to take this exclusion off. And exclusion is underneath. So I'm going to go and go to the mask. And I am going to, there's the mask. And let me see if I'm going to go select, load selection, layer 3 copy mask. And I am going to see what the selection is. That's a selection. That's a mask. I'm kind of guessing. I'm experimenting here. I'm going to inverse. That's the selection. This is the mask. I'm kind of guessing. I'm going to be on the mask. I'll turn on the mask. In a gradient. What happened to my gradient? Oh no, I lost my application frame. Uh-oh. Let me see if it works first. Got sidetracked. Oh, didn't work. Okay. I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna go Command D, but first of all, sorry, workspace, essentials. Where's my application frame? I've got floating documents. I'm doing keystrokes. There, it was put away. That was F. F, F. There. I don't know. Somehow it got down here in the dock, and I had to use a keystroke F to toggle between this stuff here. You can see there's a keystroke. You just learned something. F, F, F. That happens to be on that test. But I got lost, so I just went to the keystroke. Now, what I want to do is I want to put the gradient over Levi. So you can see his combining him with that guy, but I want to see the top of his head. So I got to figure out how to do this. So I'm going to go back to this mask. I'll just put the gradient on the whole image, the whole mask, instead of trying to separate them into two different ones. I'm on the mask, and I'm just going to go gradient, see what happens. I don't think I'm going to go the other direction. Gradient. And let's see what happens. There he is. The mask is right here. Oh, I'm expanding. See, I didn't plan this. And now, really, what I want to do is I want to add to this gradient with because it's showing the image. So what am I going to do? How am I going to do that? Quick selection tool. Quick selection tool on shift on the guy, and I can go back to the mask, and I want to. That's the selection on the mask. Delete, and I got it, but I had it inversed. Command Z. I know I'm losing everybody. Select inverse. Delete. Well, I guess I should have practiced this. But anyway, this is how you figure stuff out. There it is. There's the top. I could not get this mask to take him as well as the bottom part. And so I'm going to try it again. Layer mask. Delete this. Do it again. Layer mask. Review all. And do a simple delete. X delete. Command Z. I got my selection wrong. That's a selection. That's not. That's why I have to select it. Check it all the time. Inverse. That's a selection. I'm on the mask. Delete. That's what I want. So Command D. I can do this much simpler if I was trying to get through a mask, but I'm on the mask. I can just paint on this mask. Command Z on the mask. X. Taking away. So that's I should have done this the first time. Oh, but I want to go from the other direction. I want to go this direction. So it looks really just his eyes. I should have done it this way to start with, because it's more evidence what's going on here. Oops. Command-C. I hit the wrong keystroke. Command-Z, X, toggle on the foreground, background color. And weird. Now I have that edge, because I duplicated, I've got that edge pixels. So anyway, to see what's happening, there's Levi, or there's not Levi. That's Levi with a layer style, and there happens to be a mode on this layer style, which is right there is the layer style, effects auto blur. And here is the top part of Levi, and I can get rid of those effects. I got them down here. So I can go over here and just cancel. Disable. Delete. I didn't need it because that's what it's doing, showing the, and of course that's a mask was disabled, and I did all of this again with the paintbrush. I was trying to do it a minute ago just with selections and masks, and I got confused. So I achieved it simpler, which is better anyway. To always try to do things the simplest way, because you can get oh, that is I got it. There's a tree on that. That could use have some massing, but anyway, you can see how that works. Can you see how that works? Did I really confuse everybody? No? You're all right with that? At any rate, you can see that the working process is the exploration. You kind of go back and forth and experiment, right? Just like I did here, because I didn't plan to do this. I just thought, oh, I'm going to have a little fun and do something strange. Oh, I know what I was trying to do. I was checking off the requirements for our next expert advanced Photoshop, which is what happened to my example, which is, here it is, layer mask, layer styles, adjustment layers, modes. So I've got, the only thing I don't have here is a smart object. I'm not going to, a smart object filter. I'm not going to tell you, get into that, because I got this whole tutorial that dives into that. But I will do a filter on, let's do a filter here. So I'll have my, just so you know, because I expect that you'll be getting into this project. I'm going to do between now and then, after you finish your picture perfect. Blur, motion blur. This is the background. Oh boy, the wind is really going. Distance. Oh, I can't help myself. First of all, let me see. I've got a, this is going on all of it, so that's fine. I'm going to do a motion blur. I can't help myself. Filter an effective motion blur. Blur, motion blur. So I'm going to really make this like the wind's blowing. Go okay. And then I'm going to, you can see what that looks like. And then I'm going to see, I'm going to take this and get rid of this so I can see it. I've got two layers here, and I'm going to go layer, layer mask, be on this layer, layer, layer mask, reveal all, and do a gradient on the back of this layer, on this top layer, so I can see it, the blur not go away, black to white. I'm not sure if this is going the right direction or not. Shift. There you can see it's sharp here and blurry here. But the Eiffel Tower, well, the Eiffel Tower should be blurred, or I could go like, it's coming at you. Or I could go duplicate that. I'm really getting carried away now. I got two duplicates here. I'm going to go underneath it. Eiffel Tower just got blown away. I'm going to go filter, but you get the idea how much fun you can have combining all these things. Motion blur, and put the motion blur on that, and go okay, and move it, shift, so it looks like it's really flying away. Pretty neat, huh? Neat? Anybody? Is it neat? Thank you. You can see how much fun you can have doing this. So here's the next project. Let me find it. We're going to use all of these different advanced techniques on project 3, type an image montage illustration, 8.5 by 11, 150 DPI. It'll be a composite of 4 images, of 4 or more photographs. You can use your photographs, straight photographs downloaded from the internet, your illustrations, your paintings. You cannot use manipulated photographs that you haven't manipulated, or somebody else's artwork. Those are the rules. So it's got to be, you're going to create all this just like I just did here. And then we're going to, and I'm going to talk about typography next on this next tutorial. So we're getting to give me a start. I explained it here briefly. And use imagery that has not been digitally altered or transformed. Do not use artwork such as paintings, illustration of other artists. Give evidence that you have mastered these 5 techniques. That's what I just went over. Your grade will be determined by mastery of techniques, clarity of composition, aesthetic styles. And here are 3 directions to go in. And I'll let you read this. This is in your syllabus, but you're supposed to have use at least 4 images. I'm giving you some advice here on being dynamic. Use at least 4 images, and I can't remember what I said here. 3 words. Is it 3 words? Use at least 3 words. Here's a word you can choose from, or you can pick your own. I'm trying to give you a structure. A corporation that offers many services or products, you can read it. A magazine, an illustration or story how to network with professionals, you can read this. A magazine, an illustration of story about dreams. And here's the words you can pick from. And you're going to have make a creative artwork here that'll be judged by its creativity, its handling of typography, which we'll go over, and it's the 5 techniques. So is everybody okay out there? Anybody got any questions? No? Remind me where we're at. Picture Perfect is due next week. Climate change is due next week. And I'm going to show you an example of one of these concepts that that inspired this project that I did for a client. And then I want to go over this last tutorial here, tutorial 10, and then we'll discuss this. I don't know if you'd be ready to present it, but if you are, we can look at it. Then we're going to go to spring break, and the tutorial of the birds and the 5 techniques will be due. And then here's where we'll present. You'll have all spring break to do this montage, and we'll go from there. So that gives us up to 4/6 complete projection. Everybody all right out there in the world? Okay, then we're done. Any questions? Questions?
I have a question.
Okay, Lily.
So you might have said this already, but so it says we just today, obviously 3/16, it says project 4 type an image, and then is it project 3 or project 4?
Oh, that's my mistake.
Okay,
I thought I corrected that.
I was just making sure I didn't miss a project or anything.
Oh, I think no, that was my mistake. I think I put new syllabuses in your folders. Maybe not. Anyway, it's project 3.
Okay, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
that was my mistake. All right, everybody. See ya. Have fun over the next
Thank you.
week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.